maybe why 87% of the agents don't make it through their first year in real estate.
So
Whatever you want.
let's start there.
That's good.
If you can't write a contract on the back of your car on a Saturday night, then you don't know enough. All you have to do is show up. Just show up and you can succeed. Let's get to the point.
The cold hard fact is this. In real estate, 87% of newly licensed agents do not renew their license. And by the time that new renewal comes around, they're out of the business.
Right.
87%.
Right.
And yet, when you ask new agents what their goals are, 95% say, I want to earn $100,000. So we start off with this huge goal.
Mm-hmm.
I want to earn $100,000, and then 87% are out of business within 2 years.
Yep. That's what we talk about is historically how it works, and I've been doing this for 16 years in the broker capacity, is they sign up, they watch an HGTV series, they see how much money someone's making, and they think it's easy, and then they get into real estate. And here's the hard part. And so real estate is at 100% of the people over the 16 years we brought in said it was harder than they thought. It cost more to get started than they thought it would, and it took longer to get their first paycheck, and they have not saved enough money to go through that period.
And those that succeeded, though, what kept them through that difficult time is they realized the shortest path was through, and they had a big enough why to double down, to go through difficult, and create that supported by a work ethic.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that every time, probably. The big why, your big rocks, the thing that keeps you going in the hard days, when it rains, when it's sunny out, when you don't want to go to work. And, everybody gets into real estate for like two things they think, right? It's flexibility of schedule and what?
Flexibility and unlimited income potential. I know I don't have a boss. I can be flexible. And here's the thing. The reality is when you get into real estate, you have to work for twice the jerk of a boss because you've got to be the jerk of the boss for yourself.
Yeah.
You can't cut yourself slack.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go light on yourself. You have to be the toughest boss you've ever had on yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you go light on you, there will not be somebody to go hard on you.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things is let's it's harder than I thought. Well, let's talk about this. This isn't digging ditches.
Mm-hmm.
This is the difficulty is getting outside of your comfort zone.
Right.
It's said, and I was just reading it this last week, real estate's a contact sport. People watch the HGTV and they fall in love with pretty houses, square feet, and showing 3 houses and writing $1 million contract. That's not the work.
Nope.
The work that we get paid on the closing are the hundreds of conversations that we had, the contacts, the communication, the follow-up, the relationship building. That paycheck comes down the road,
mm-hmm.
but real estate is a contact sport. And most agents don't think of that. They think it's about houses instead of people.
Yes, I'd say it's like you have in this market is over 4,000 realtors in our area. So you have 4,000 storefronts, and your job is to figure out how to get the people into your store out of those 4,000, right? And so people don't realize that you have to earn the right to do business with people by becoming a professional and being able to help them, right?
Well, and Jeff, most people come into real estate as a second, third, or fourth career.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't come right out of college. We've got a few of those.
Yeah.
But most, they did something else. I was a marriage and family therapist for 20 years. I had to rebrand within my network who I was and what I did.
Yeah.
People came to me when their kids or spouse misbehaved. Okay? And now I had to say, don't come to me for that.
Right.
Come to me for houses. Okay? And so part of that job is reaching into your network and saying, I've got to re-educate you on how to know me, how to relate to me, how to see me, because real estate's not a straight shot of I get my license and tomorrow I talk to everybody and talk them into selling their house and moving or buying a house, right?
Right.
It's rebranding so that when there is a real estate need, whether directly or indirectly through a referral, they now think of me over everybody else as the go-to person to serve them.
Mm. Yeah, I got to say, I spent 23 years at Kmart in a bunch of management positions. And I can say that I started in real estate in April of '01. The hardest thing I ever did was create a real estate business on the Emerald Coast from '01 until '06. It was the hardest thing I had ever done, and it required working 6 days a week, minimum 7 days. My recollection was probably worse than it was, but it was
Uphill twice in the snow. I mean, the sand.
yeah. Dad used to talk about we're to the bus stop, right? But was working night and day, working 2 nights. So I got on a team. I worked 2 nights a week for everybody you couldn't contact during the day due to work. And then I held open houses every weekend until I couldn't stand it. And that was to get it started. And what we see, Mark, what do we see with the new guys? You're the productivity coach.
Yeah.
The new people show up, they go to some classes, they may be connected for 90 days, and then what happens?
Well, they haven't been putting in the work, the at-bats. If all you do is go into education mode, you're going to be an educated pauper.
Yeah.
Now look at it this way. It's a pretty good, and I've observed this, other coaches that I know have observed this, is you're looking at about a 2% yield on your conversations. And so if you have 5 conversations a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, you've had 1,250 conversations. A 2% yield on that is 25 home sales.
Yeah.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that means 1,225 conversations did not result, well, they did result in a home sale because you had to go through those to get to them. But a lot of people, they don't have the discipline, and the deals are in the discipline, and the discipline is the deal.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the discipline to say, I'm going to do this consistently, inch, conversation. And the really good ones that say, I've got to get at, they're saying, I'm going to have 20 a day. 5 days a week, 100 conversations. I'm going to have 5,000 conversations. And those are people that in their second and third year are pushing 80, 90, 100 transactions a year. And they're just saying, I'm committed to the discipline of conversations.
It's possible. It's certainly all in the numbers. I've been to classes where people who don't go home until they have 100 contacts a day. And you wonder, wow, how do you do that? And yet let's talk about the rookies of the year. Every single year, this is the possibilities. We want more for our people so much because we know what's possible. And so, Mark, you're coaching Travis. What's he doing?
So Travis is an interesting guy. Former professional baseball player, was a teacher and coach for the first half of the year. June hit the ground running, and we've been coaching on the contacts, the conversations. And every time I meet with him, and I meet with him every single week, accountability, he shows up and he says, here's how many people I've talked to. Here are the names that I've talked to. Here are the conversations that I'm having. And he realizes it's at bats. And in that window from June to here it is November, he's created over $150,000 of gross commission income.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's coming off of a year of teaching for about $20,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay, is that life-changing? But it boils down to 5 days a week, sometimes 6.
Mm-hmm.
He's putting in those conversations each and every single day and doesn't take the time. I mean, it's like this is the working time. It's not the playing time.
Yeah, failure's not an option, and his numbers are not his end, though, right? This is just his beginning.
That's just his beginning. But what's interesting are the conversations around. It's important to me to get on the board. It's important to me to hit Rookie of the Year. It's important to me. There is a need and a want and a drive, not in a negative way, but in a joyful way of how far can I go? I'm a steward of this talent. How far can I go with this? And I'm going to push myself.
I completely connect with that. The competitiveness gets you out of bed every day. It's not your why, but it sure motivates you to keep pushing to be number one. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Our Rookies of the Year have historically closed around 40 units.
Yeah.
And they've exceeded $150,000 or right around that every time. And these are the ones that failure is not an option. They're going to do whatever it takes, right? But we look at it, and that is what we want for everybody, right?
Yeah.
We want everybody to be there. Not everybody wants that.
And so, and just to bring it all around and wrap this up is agents fail for lack of trying or doing. Trying, you can try a bunch of different things, but you've got to do the purposeful things. In real estate, it boils down to it's a contact sport. It's lead generation, which means talk to a lot of people, be people's friends, add value to them in such a way, and do that relentlessly. The deals will follow. But track that, look at that. The successful ones know, and they don't delude themselves into thinking they were productive when really they worked all day, and you track their numbers and you go, you talk to 3 people. Well, 3 times 5 is 15. 15 times 50 is not many conversations.
Not enough.
Not enough, and that's why they go out of business.
Normally, yeah.
So,
That's exactly right.
let's come back to this and talk more on another time, because this is the key. Whether you're brand new or you've been experienced, you never move out of prospecting and building that pipeline.
Yeah, we're expecting, because you could be one of the people, we're expecting, I guess the data is saying 85% of people currently at work are looking for a new job post-COVID, and that a lot of people, maybe more than ever in history, are going to get into real estate. And so just be aware that it's not as easy as it looks. The professional real estate agents have earned the right to do business with the people they're working with, and that will become the challenge for everybody else entering the business,
Yeah,
right?
and Jeff, here's the thing: is it's not crowded at the top; it's crowded at the bottom.
That's exactly right.
And the ones
Great
that have
statement.
the work ethic, the drive, the determination, and strong why, they'll find a way.
We have over 100 people making $100,000 or more in this last year. We've got probably 6 going to make over 2 million, or over 1 million, I'm sorry, and a couple will make 2 million. So the possibility at the top, as you said, is wow, where else could you do that?
Where else can you go?
Yeah.